So let's start with the next topic of this unit, and the name of this topic is controller. So students, this is the last session of this unit. So today we will complete with the third unit of CS2. So in the last lecture we have studied about different types of memories, where we have studied, have a look at this, where we have studied what is memory, what is conventional memory, what is expanded memory, extended memory, RAM, ROM, PROM, EPROM, EEPROM. So that was all about memory. So we are studying third unit of CS2, and the name of this unit is functional hardware part of PC. So we are studying all the basic parts or all the basic hardware things of basic hardwares of PC. So in the last session we have discussed about the memory. In today's lecture we have to study about the controller. Now what is controller? So controller in a computing context is a hardware device or a software program that manages or directs the flow of data. So basically control is used to control the different types of operations. So we have different types of controllers. So the very first controller is disk controller. So what is disk controller? Disk controller is the controller circuit which enables the CPU to communicate with the hard disk, floppy disk and other kinds of disk drives. So it also provides an interface between the disk drive and the bus, connecting it to the rest of the system. So this is an example of disk controller. Next controller is DMA controller. DMA stands for direct memory access. So direct memory access controller, this is a method or this is a mechanism which allows an input-output devices to send or receive the data directly to and from the main memory, and they bypass the CPU to speed up the memory operations. So they bypass the CPU so that CPU can do other things. So this is how they help in speeding up the computer. So the process is managed by a chip which is known as DMA controller. So DMA controller is basically used to directly allow the transfer of data between input-output devices and main memory. So these are the two types of controllers, disk controller and DMA controller. Now let's move to next topic, system bus. Now what is system bus? A system bus is a single computer bus that connects the major components of a computer system, and we have different types of buses in the computer. So we have to study all these categories. So let's start with the first category, address bus. Address bus helps to transfer memory addresses. Next is data bus. Data bus helps to send and receive data. Next is control bus. Control bus carries various synchronization and control signals. Next category is universal serial bus. Now what is USB? All of you make use of this USB. Universal serial bus is an industry standard that establishes specifications for cables and connectors and protocols for connection, communication and power supply between computers, peripherals and other devices and other computers. So this is the reason why we make use of USB. Next is ISA bus. What is ISA bus? Industry Standard Architecture Bus. So the name of this is Industry Standard Architecture Bus. This is a bus, it is a computer bus which allows the additional expansion cards to be connected to a computer's motherboard. So it helps to establish such types of connections. Next category is EISA bus, Extended Industry Standard Architecture. So this is a type of bus. This is a bus architecture which extends the industry standard architecture, which extends the ISA. So you can say this is the extension of ISA bus because it provides more capability, or it has more capacity and capability as compared to ISA bus. So EISA is just an extension or extended version of ISA, and it supports 16 bits to 32 bits. Next category is MCA, micro channel architecture. So MCA standard was designed to replace ISA buses. It was developed after ISA. While the MCA bus architecture was an improvement in both size and speed over ISA, so it was an advancement over ISA. It is an expansion bus created by IBM. An expansion bus allows additional cards to be connected to the computer's motherboard, expanding the number of input-output ports. So they include SC, SI, USB, Firewire, AGP, DVI connectors, as well as many others. So initially, USB is, you all know USB, ISA was developed, then EISA was developed to replace ISA, and then MCA was developed to replace ISA. The next category of bus is VLB. VLB stands for VESA local bus. It stands for Video Electronics Standard Association. So the VLB or the VL bus is a hardware interface on the computer's motherboard which is attached to the expansion slot. So by connecting the expansion card to the VLB, you can add extra graphic capabilities to your computer. So if you want to introduce, and if you don't have that much level of advanced features in your PC that you want to use, which are related to graphics, then you can simply use it by just adding the expansion card or graphics card to your PC. So VLB helps in this. Next is PCI. PCI is a local bus. This is a high performance bus which is transferred for high speed data transfer. So the PCI bus resides on the system board, and it is normally used as an interconnect mechanism between highly integrated peripheral components, peripheral add-on boards, and the host processors or memory systems. So these all are the different categories of buses that we have studied. So we have studied address bus, data bus, control bus, then USB, Universal Serial Bus, ISA bus, EISA bus, MCA, then VLB bus, and then PCI bus. So these all are the different categories of buses. Now let's move to next and the last topic of this unit, interrupt. So what is interrupt? Students, this topic is in detail form in 12th standard. So here you just have to gone through the definition of the interrupt. So what is interrupt? So an interrupt is a signal sent to the processor. So it is basically a signal which is sent to the processor, and when an interrupt occurs, it stops the current execution of the process. So an interrupt is a signal sent to the processor that interrupts the current process. It may be generated by a hardware device or by a software program. It depends upon the type of the interrupt. So interrupts are processed by an interrupt handler, and we also call it as interrupt service routine and ISR. So whenever a program receives an interrupt request, that is ISR occurs, the ISR handles the event and the program resumes. So basically it is the responsibility of the ISR to handle the interrupts and to look out the status of the program, that what is the status of the program and how they have to resume the program once they have stopped its working. So this is all that ISR has to perform. So basically interrupt is whenever an interrupt occurs, it stops the normal execution of the program. So with this, students, we have completed the third unit of CS2. So this is very easy and simple unit, and we have studied very basic things in this unit. So I just want to tell you all the topics in brief. So in this unit we have studied about the hardware and the software, where we have studied different hardware parts or the software parts of a PC. After that, the next topic that we have covered in this unit is PC specification, where we have studied different features, that what are the features that are required to specify the PC, and on which the speed of the PC depends. So where we have studied RAM, ROM, hard disk drives, motherboards, graphic cards, power supply and peripherals. So after that we have studied about the memory and the different categories of memory: conventional memory, expanded memory, extended memory, RAM and ROM. RAM and ROM. So this is what we have studied in the memory. After that we have studied about controller, where we have studied disk controller and DMA controller. And the last topic was system bus, where we have studied different categories of buses and interrupt. So with this, students, we have finished with the third unit of CS2. In the next session we will start with the fourth unit of CS2. In CS2 there are total 4 units. So we have already completed first 3 units. So that's all for today.